Before the discovery of their Primarch and before they were called the Death Guard, the 14th Legion was known by a different name, the Dusk Raiders, and with a different name also comes a different colour scheme. Welcome back to There's Heresy in my 40k, and for this video, I'm going to be painting a Dusk Raiders Lord of Virulence. Now yes, the Dusk Raiders is what the Death Guard were originally known as before Mortarion took over and decided to rename the Legion in honor of the Death Guard, his little rebellion group that he had on Barbarous. So, color scheme wise, very different to the Great Crusade / Horus Heresy era Death Guard and then the current 40k Death Guard. You know, instead of the pale, like almost bone white with the green shoulder plates of like Heresy era Death Guard, or the current 40k like standard Plague Marine sickly green armor, the Dusk Raiders are a predominantly like dark grey with yellowy goldish trim, but the standout for it is their right arm is just completely a dark red. So very, very interesting, like original color scheme. So what I had to decide was, okay, I'm going to go with the Dusk Raiders. What model would I choose? And you know, while I make no chaos side, no chaos wise, I'm a Thousand Suns boy, but without a doubt, the Death Guard has a lot of amazing minis. Like, you know, you have your named characters, you got your Typhus, your Mortarion, they look absolutely fantastic. I have those painted as like Heresy era color schemes. But then you have like your Plague Marines, and then, you know, the Blight Lord Terminators, the Death Shroud Bodyguards. All of them look fantastic. But the one I definitely wanted, and the one I definitely wanted to use to turn into a Dusk Raider, was of course the Lord of Virulence. I think it's a fantastic looking model. Just everything about it looks amazing. The whole like industrial like pipes on its back. It's holding one-handed holding its like weapon, and huge belly gut just like bursting out of the armor. Ugh, disgusting. Very Death Guardy of him. Very nurkly. But yeah, so decided on the Lord of Virulence, and moving on, how would I paint this? Where would I allocate which parts would be painted with what paints? So after basing the entire thing in Chaos Black Spray, I decided, okay, majority of the armor, because it's a grey, I'm going to use, you know, Mechanicus Standard Grey for the majority of the armor. The right arm that is a darkish red, I was going to use Wordbearer's red, but it wasn't close enough to what the image of what the only like image we have of a Dusk Raiders era Space Marine. So instead I did like 1 part Wordbearer's red with 3 parts Corn red to get that kind of darkish red look to it. So that's the arm chosen, highlighted with Mephiston red. Oh, and all of the Mechanicus Standard Grey highlighted with a Dawnstone Grey, or I think I used an equivalent because I don't have Dawnstone Grey, so I used an equivalent for the highlight for that. All the trim and certain like the exhausts and pipes, I was going to use Retributor Gold, but that's too gold. If you know, if you understand what I'm saying, it's a bit too bright on compared to like the gold that is used in the Dusk Raiders image. So instead I went with the lighter gold, which, you know, most would use as a highlight, which is Liberator Gold. And as a reverse, I instead used the Retributor Gold as a highlight for the Liberator Gold. So yes, so all of the trim that is available on the armor, and specific emblems and the exhaust pipes, all of that would be with Liberator Gold, highlighted with Retributor Gold. Then has this weird cape. The Lord of Virulence has this weird like webbed kind of skin cape robe that it has on it. So they actually like kind of like piping like on that cape or robe, I used Naggaroth Knight to give it a bit of a purpley look. I think it's a good contrast for the rest of the model for it to be purple. Then the actual like skin webby flaps in it, I used Acadian flesh tone, and then shaded with Caribou Crimson, and then highlighted with Kislev Flesh. And then, of course, all of the metallics, I used Iron Warriors, I used Leadbelcher, highlighted with Stormhost Silver, but certain parts of it to give it that like bronzy kind of look to it, similar to the original box art color of the Lord of Virulence. I used Screaming Bell, but I still highlighted with a little bit of Stormhost Silver. Then any other like pipes that I weren't painting with Iron Warriors or Leadbelcher, that would be, I would either just keep the Chaos Black spray or just to tidy it up a little bit if like any of the other paints got onto it. I used Abaddon Black and then highlighted it with a bit of the Dawnstone Grey equivalent. And then there on the model is a few little like driplets, like little ooze or like goo that's coming off it. I believe I used Nurgling Green to give it that sickly kind of look to it. Then also to the belly itself, I used the same paints that I used for the skin flaps, the Acadian Flesh Tone, Caribou Crimson Shade, and Kislev Flesh highlight. I applied to the exposed belly gut as well. And then for the helmet, there's some horns on there. Use Morghast Bone. And then for the eye lenses, I just also used Corn Red for the eye lenses. So with all of those paints selected for the model, all that was left was to, well, paint it. So, I present to you my Dusk Raiders Lord of Virulence. Ta-da! There he is in all of his disgusting glory. I'm quite a big fan of how the skin on the model turned out. The weird skin flaps and all that. Really like how that turned out, especially on the belly. If I can get it to focus a bit properly. I like how that turned out. I'm definitely improving a little bit on when it comes to highlighting. It's always a gambit. Sometimes it's like, sometimes I do, I'm like, wow, the line of that highlight was perfect. Let me try again on a different part of the model, and it's not. And I'm like, okay, now I got to fix this up. It's a bit of a constant battle. I know I don't have to highlight everything, but I like it to stand, like parts of it to stand out a bit more, especially on the if I can get the focus a bit, especially on the power fist, the huge fist. I kind of like the highlights that turned out on there. But no, overall, I'm pretty proud of how this turned out. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks cool. And it'd be a nice contrast to the Typhus and Mortarion that I've painted in the Heresy color scheme for those two models. So, yep, there we go. That is the Dusk Raiders Lord of Virulence done and painted. Thank you everyone who watched this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out any of the previous There's Heresy in My 40k videos, and stay tuned for the next one, because it's going to be Blood Angels related. Yes, my favorite Legion / chapter, the Blood Angels, are going to be in a There's Heresy in My 40k video. So very excited for that. I could go in two different ways because I have two different projects in line with the Blood Angels. One of them being in this one, or could be the other one I'm planning. I'm just waiting for supplies to arrive for that one. But stay tuned in for that one. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll hope to see you all in the next one. Gotcha.